Hi, welcome back to part 2 of today's training. This is Andy Marco. So what we're going to do now is actually create the campaign on media traffic, and without further ado we're just going to log in here, and you'll see from the initial welcome screen you've got basically two options to activate your account. Firstly, you've got to create your first campaign, which we've actually done for you. It should make it a lot easier for you to follow the steps required. And secondly, we've got to fund the account with the requisite $200. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention here. Firstly is the reporting within the account. It's pretty fundamental to get your conversion tracking sorted from day one. So the option that you need to choose here is this ROI tracking setup. So this is the code that goes into your sales confirmation page or your lead thank you page, your sign up thank you page. So you've got two options here. You've got JavaScript tracking and pixel tracking. And my suggestion would be that you implement this into your landing pages as soon as possible, basically almost before you set up the first campaign. So it's pretty fundamental to the success of any campaign, because firstly you'll forget otherwise if you don't do it at the beginning, and secondly you can make informed decisions right from day one. So the other thing that we obviously need to talk about is your actual campaign setup options. So you'll see a number of different options here for creating your first campaign. There's only one that we would actually recommend that you choose, and that's the create new campaign option. The create run of network campaign is definitely not something that you should try. You'll go through your budget incredibly quickly, and it's very untargeted campaign setup. So don't do a run of network basically. The other one is category campaign, and again it's a little bit more targeted than the run of network, but the option that we would suggest 99% of the time is create new campaign, which enables you to target specific competitor URLs and keywords. Okay, as I mentioned to you before, we've actually created the first campaign for you. But the steps are very, very similar to adding a new one and editing an existing campaign. So we'll just go into edit an existing campaign. Okay, so this is the edit campaign or create new campaign screen. First thing you've got to bear in mind is you've got to give each campaign a distinctive name, because if you have, say, hundreds of different campaigns, you've got to be able to find what you're looking for very quickly. So a distinctive name is important to begin with. I would, until you're completely happy with how the campaign is performing and you're getting decent results from your landing pages and your creatives, I would keep the daily budget to the minimum, which is basically, as we said, $10. Frequency cap is something that a lot of you won't be aware of, or you haven't heard that expression before. But it basically means 1 in 24 means that our ad will be shown once every 24 hours to the same user. So again, I would keep that. That's pretty much the default setting. You do have other options, but I would say once a day is more than enough and perfectly adequate. Country list, you've got a whole range of different options here. We're targeting pretty much English-speaking countries there, so we're quite happy with that. You've got an option to start and end the campaign at a particular time. So obviously if you're scheduling something in the future, then that's a good option. But again, it's not really something that we use particularly often. So we can just go ahead and save the campaign. Okay, so we've created the initial campaign settings. We're moving on now to what they call the destination. Destination is basically where you want people to end up at after they've clicked the ad or go to the landing page or whatever. So in the case here, we've got FLP LP1 as our name for the destination, and that's the actual destination URL there. you've got the option of adding just a singular destination, or you've got the option of a bulk import if you've got, say, 100 destination files or URLs. So just depends on how many you've got. Initially, you're going to start off with 5 or 6 or whatever it may be. So I would just use create a new destination as a single entity. So you can see here that, let me just move down the screen. There's also some advanced features I just want to make you aware of. You've got this kind of window type, which can either be a landing page or a creative. A creative is basically an image that people click on, and that then takes them through to the landing page. Depends what kind of option or offer you've got as to which one you think is more appropriate. And again, it's a question of testing. You've got a pop-up or a pop-under option, and as I mentioned previously to you, you've got this restriction of 750 by 550. I don't know why they allow you to edit it, because you can't. So that's going to be 750 by 550 end of. And you've got the option here of a target pass-through. I certainly recommend that you have this ticked, because what that will enable you to do is identify which particular keyword resulted in a conversion. So in terms of tracking and conversions, that's fundamentally important, and something that we certainly recommend you have for all your campaigns. Okay, so all you would do there is now save it, and we'll move on to adding keywords and URLs. Okay, so the final section that we need to go through is actually adding the URLs and keywords that we want traffic from. Really, all you need to do is from your Excel spreadsheet where you did all the initial research, you need to cut and paste both keywords and your target URLs into this little box here, and then just click on the Add Targets. If you're updating it, you just need to replace targets, so you can mix and match and add to and delete and all that kind of stuff. So you've got obviously a series of minimum bids, and the one thing that does show you is what the competing highest competing cost per view and that figure is. So you've got a number of options. You can match competing, so in other words you're getting the same price as your competitors, or the best option probably and the easiest to manage is the overbid, where you're overbidding a thousandth of a cent each time over and above your competitors. So that pretty much means that your ad is always going to be shown first. But again, it's a question of playing around with this a wee bit until you get used to the little nuances of each campaigns and the destinations and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it. We've created our first campaign. You set up the initial campaign settings, your daily budget of $10. The ad is going to be shown to people once every 24 hours. You've changed it to a creative. Default is actually a landing page, so if you've got a creative which then leads on to a landing page, you need to change that in the advanced features option, and you're pretty much ready to go. All of these are pending because the campaign isn't actually live yet, but you just pretty much hit the finish and it takes you back to the welcome screen. Okay, that's pretty much it for today's training. We hope you found it of interest, and don't forget that you can register at CPV Manual for the complete training course that we're going to be releasing very shortly. So we're doing it on a first come first served basis, so the earlier you register the better, basically. So anyway, thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you soon.